How was your annual Nail Dead Risen day yesterday?
I just did chores and did nothing. Like it's just a
You
normal
you
day
didn't
for
listen
me.
to Impending Doom?
No, um, the only music I listened to was on a Netflix show that finished. I believe it was the new A24 show Beef with Steven Yeun and Ali
Is
Wong.
that good?
It was fun. Yeah, it had a lot.
Yeah,
The soundtrack was awesome. I mean,
I've heard it's pretty good. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm still watching fucking Tulsa King right now, and then I'm supposed to start Succession right after.
oh,
Um,
Succession. I tried to watch Succession, but like I just gotta stop. This is more for me. This is a thing I have to do, right, junkies? I gotta stop watching shows about stupid, mad rich people, right? Like every show I watch, so many shows. I shouldn't say every, but like so many shows that I watch, just the main characters are like filthy rich. You know, I really liked Billions. I think that show is called. Billions is really
unfamiliar.
good. I really like that show. Like Yellowstone, also filthy rich. Like I don't know, but I guess rich people just have more interesting lives. You know, there's more drama because there's more money involved, but also
Well,
because
I
there's
feel
more
like it's
money involved,
easier
they
to
have
write
more
about.
things that they can do.
Can you imagine how tough it would be to write about a poor person if you're like HBO? You have no clue what they're going through. Like
Yeah.
you've probably never experienced that. So I can imagine like these board writers who are like, who do we write about? Let's write about the working class. Fuck that. And they're just like, oh yeah, this guy, he's gonna have a super yacht and he's gonna have a
hmm
bunch of mercenaries after him. Um,
I wonder
X,
if
Y, and
there's
Z.
I wonder if there's any correlation between like video, like movie platforms, so to speak, like HBO or like Showtime, stuff like that. Is there any correlation between how high tier the platform is versus how many like you said, working class shows they make? Because to me, when I think of working class shows, I almost think of more like like NBC or USA, like just straight to TV kind of thing.
I
Like,
mean, I imagine there's gonna be some like sociological component to it. Like I can't imagine a world where HBO and AMC are writing specifically for the working class because those have been formatted as premium television networks forever, like since HBO's inception.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, the closest you're gonna get is like I guess The Wire. Um, but I don't even know if that really counts because they focus really heavily on like the police
rest
and
in
the
peace, Lance
investigators.
Reddick.
Dude,
R.I.P. I started watching this show Fringe. It's from like 2008, but he's in that show, and I'm like, dude, I just can't get away from this guy. He's been in like so many things that I enjoy, and I didn't really. It's one of those things you take him for granted, you know.
I
Sorry,
still need to go
Lance.
see John Wick 4, and
That one's good. I went and
he
synced
is
it.
incredible in those movies.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about his performance until like you actually like, oh, let me go revisit that.
Yeah.
He is quite the character, and he plays that character strongly,
Mm-hmm.
even though his character is supposed to be like kind of deadpan, not very exciting. What the fuck are you drinking?
Well, okay. Well, I was trying to think. I was trying to think on like on other shows that I watch. Like they normally cover up the brand, but I don't have a koozie up here, so I'm just gonna have to fucking show it. And the truth of the matter, Gennaro, is as of late, I've been drinking some sugar-free monsters.
You're disgusting.
And
Monster is the
this one's
devil.
the peachy keen one. Well, that's the hope. I remember I saw one time that this logo is like each one of these little lines is 6 in like whatever language Judaism is written
Are
in.
you
I
talking
don't know.
about the crazy lady with
Yeah.
the giant monster
And I was
can?
like, oh, it's 666. That's fucking badass, dude. And I was like, all right. But no, they had these
I
at
remember that video.
work, and like the other one was strawberry, like ultra strawberry dreams, and I was like, well, I'm curious about that one. It had a the can was beautiful. Okay, it was like a pink, and then the top, this nozzle part was like red. It looked really. They got me with colors. That's what made me buy it, was the color scheme. And this one, I really like peach, and I also like the color scheme and the artwork that they have on them. So I've been trying them, and they're not bad. But this is like the third one in 2 weeks, so I don't drink a lot of them. But
You got to get back on the Red Bull craze, man. They invented energy drinks.
no, they did
It's gonna
not.
stay that way. Yes, they did.
No,
Go back and do your market research, bro. They literally created the energy drink. They
I don't.
modernized what we know as caffeinated energy drinks.
I don't believe you.
Okay,
First
then
energy drink.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Energy drink. Oh, dude, the origins date back to 1949. But that,
Yeah, the first
that was cocaine.
that was
stuff.
just yeah,
They
just
just put
crack.
cocaine in water, and they're like, here you go. I'm looking. Oh, do you want to hear about the first one?
Yeah, it's probably crazy fucked up and full of drugs.
Yeah. They're talking, 1949, Chicago-based Tri-City Beverage releases a drink called Dr. Enough, which is marketed as the original energy booster. It was full of vitamins and, of course, caffeine, but wasn't popular enough to hang with the big dogs like Coca-Cola. Let me see. 1985.
How much caffeine could have possibly into that though?
There we go. By the beginning of the 2000s, energy drinks are everywhere. Brands start popping up left and right, and everyone has a preference. In 2001, Rockstar is introduced, followed by Monster Energy in 2002. Oh, dude, I remember this. Pimp Juice by Nelly in 2003. I fucking remember that stuff, dude. That's crazy. I forgot about it. Rip It. I remember those in 2004.
Are those the ones that came in like the weird bottles?
Who?
No, that was Red Line that came in the weird bottles.
Yeah, Red Line. Bro, Red Line is unnecessary. They should not have made that. I remember kids getting sick because they would like, you're only supposed to drink like half of it, and then you just like drink the whole thing, and they'd be like fucking shaky.
Just, like, having a heart attack.
History of energy drinks. I'm looking. First energy drink, 1960. Oh shit! Looky there. Okay, so first one's in 1960. Taisho Pharmaceuticals, Japan, makes the first drink specifically targeted at increasing energy. First introduced as a medicinal tonic drink, the drink, Lipvitan D, contains a mix of essential vitamins and also taurine and niacin, which are metabolic agents proven to boost things such as energy and concentration. Now to your point, in 1987, the invention of Red Bull. Dietrich Mateschitz. I don't think that's right.
He's some like Swiss dude or something.
An Austrian. Close
Austrian.
enough.
My bad, Austria.
Adds caffeine and sugar and named this drink Red Bull after the taurine amino acid. Red Bull introduced to America in 1997, and then Monster Energy drink was in 2002. So I concede you were right. Red Bull was the first American brand. I'll say that.
Well, I think they're also kind of like the first that like really boomed into like the whole like extreme sports thing. But that's like a total other conversation.
Yeah. But you were right. I didn't think Red Bull was the first one, but maybe that's just because was more aware of Monster at that time, because Monster had like their foot in the door of like the skating brands.
Well, they had Warped Tour and everything under their nails.
So
yeah.
that's where I was like, oh yeah, but sugar-free is not bad. I don't normally fuck with sugar-free in anything else, but these ones aren't bad. But yeah. Well, not to talk about energy drinks all the time, but should I like open this show? I probably should.
I think we could probably just keep going like this for a while and you'll just never open it. So I think you might as well just shoot your shot.
Yeah, welcome to Tune Junkies Podcast. My name is Chris. Today we're going to talk about something very special to me, and mainly just me. Gennaro's just here to poke fun and ask questions like I know he's probably gonna. So, yeah, Gennaro's here, everybody. Yeah,
I'm here. What's up, guys? Golf clap. I always insert the golf claps, just so you know.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out a way to get like a soundboard. Like I Googled a bunch of them, and there was one that I found. It was called like the Jingle Pad or something like that. And
just
it
get
said
like the little Elgato Steam Deck thing. You can just...
The what?
The Elgato Steam Deck. You can use it to like either play sounds or switch cameras or like launch a game.
Oh,
It's
well,
what all the streamers use.
I don't need all that shit. Anyways, I had found this thing that it said like you can upload your own sounds and you can press them and then your guest will be able to hear them too. But then I downloaded it and set it all up and then I went to go use it and then it was like, oh, file not found. I'm like, what do you mean? I've never done anything with it. But yeah, I want to be able to play sounds, right? I want to be able to play the intro and have the guests listen to it. I've had a couple guests like, oh, are we going to do the intro? I'm like, no, I've never done that, but I should look into that. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. We're just shooting from the hip. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to talk about, listener, viewer, I went and saw John Mayer on his solo tour. I don't know if you can tell, but this is his swag. Can you see his face right here? Yeah, he's right there. But yeah, I went and saw John Mayer. Oh, I don't know where her hat is. I also saw opening for him was Joy Oladukun. Oladukun. I don't know. I don't know how to say her last name. But I did sit next to her sister at the John Mayer show. She sat like right behind me, and they were very proud. I think there were multiple sisters, maybe just one, and then two of the sisters' friends, but they were very loud when Joy mentioned them. So much so that they didn't even hear what Joy had to say about her and them. But that's okay. Sometimes you just overshoot. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, the one thing I was like, I'm always stoked to go see John Mayer, right? Gennaro's the same way. Gennaro loves John Mayer so much. But I didn't really understand the gravitas of, like, the tour. I know a lot of people don't care, but I'm just speaking on my own terms. That this is, like, in however many years, 30-some years, that, like, this is how he started, with just him and a guitar, like, playing shows. And, like, this is the first time since the inception of John Mayer that he's done that. And, like, it didn't really click to me at first. I was like, oh, yeah, it's just, going to play shows without a band, less things you have to carry, more money in your pocket. But I was like, oh, no, that's also, like, terrifying. Can you imagine going into the United Center in Chicago, just you and a guitar and playing for, 30, 40,000 people? Like, I got scared playing in front of 40 people with 5 people behind me. I can't even imagine that. Like,
I find this kind of shocking, Chris. I didn't know this until just now when I Googled it. Because you said he's been like touring and playing for like 30 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is fucking 45.
Yeah.
He does not look 45 at all.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's
like, he looks pretty damn good for 45.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, 1997, making some stuff. Is John okay? People also asked, is John Mayer in a relationship? He no longer dates much, he said in a Call Her Daddy podcast. So
yeah,
in case you wanted to know.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm up to date with all the gossip John Mayer stuff. I wasn't thrilled to see him on the Call Her Daddy thing, just because I felt like it wasn't going to be inquisitive from the perspective of somebody who's a fan of music. It was going to be inquisitive things from the perspective of somebody who is like, what's the word I want to use? Fawning over,
Yeah, well, and I feel like Call Her Daddy's audience might be a little less versed in John Mayer. I could be wrong.
He's a popular guy,
but a very popular dude. But I can't imagine. Granted, I really don't know like the demographics or anything. But it was on Barstool. I don't know if it's still owned by Barstool. And like the original concepts was very like college girl type thing, which, I mean, hey, college girls might like John Mayer, but I do feel like the majority of them like Taylor Swift a little more.
Yeah.
And there's still some beef there, some bad blood, if you will.
I saw a picture of a guy who went to the John Mayer tour, and he was like, I had to go see my man John Mayer, but I also had to rip my girl T Swift, and he was wearing like a Taylor Swift shirt. But yeah. No, that's the one thing that like I don't really want to talk about the John Mayer T Swift beef, but yeah, it's an unfortunate situation because like I'm also starting to like bleed into lowering my defenses into allowing myself to enjoy Taylor Swift. But I think I said it in one of my interviews. I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to like John Mayer and Taylor Swift. I just don't think. I think it's one of those things where you have to pick a side. It's like, well,
I don't know if it's unmarriable, but
right.
you will have to defend one side or the other when the war happens.
Yeah, that's
when World War III breaks out, it's gonna be the John Mayer fans and the Swifties.
I mean, if it's any
that's just something you have to deal
consolation,
with.
John Mayer's never called anyone gay in his songs, right? So I don't know. Is it he's called someone a bitch, or like he said you're mean. You didn't have to be so fucking mean. He said shit like that, but he's never threatened to slander someone's name by telling people that they were gay. But different times. I get it.
Different
I'm not
times,
mad.
Man. 2005 was a
Yeah.
weird time.
Yeah, Taylor, no sweat off my back. Like I get it. It was different times. You're fine. You're an ally now. It's fine. So we all learn. But yeah, it was I got to hear some of the songs that I've been waiting to hear. Like I've seen, this was the Search for Everything, Sob Rock. This was like the third time I think I've gone to see him. And there was one song I've been waiting to hear the entire time, and that's In Your Atmosphere. Oh, such a beautiful song. And I finally got to hear it. I'm mad that it wasn't like well, I guess it doesn't really matter because even if there would have been a band, that would have been during the acoustic thing because that's just an acoustic guitar song. Which, another thing I think is so impressive. Anybody who can like blow up a sound, right, with just two things, just the guitar and your vocals, to make that song feel and sound as big as it does. Wonderful. It's magic.
So have you seen him before with a full band?
That's the only way I've seen him.
So the last two times you saw him was full band.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was this experience just like, was it better? Was it, just different? Like, how would you describe the overall like atmosphere of it?
Well, In Your Atmosphere, nice job. In John Mayer's atmosphere, I think with it being acoustic, it definitely felt more personal. It didn't feel like a big show. Like it felt more like I was going to almost like an open mic. I know it sounds silly because I literally drove to the United Center and like walked with thousands of other people. But in the sense of like the how do I want to say this? The blanket of sound that you experience in the acoustic setting, when it's just the acoustic guitar, it feels a lot more personal. I feel a lot closer to that person because it's just it's literally just one guy. And that makes it more intimate. But I'll tell you, the one thing I noticed as I was like sitting there watching, the one thing I hate about going to see John Mayer shows is that I rarely ever get to hear the song with just him singing. You know what I mean? Have you ever gone to a show where the person on the stage is so popular and all the songs they perform are so popular and beloved that the whole crowd is singing for every fucking song?
Yeah, I can't imagine that gets a little irritating.
And see,
but I mean, it's part of the fan experience, though.
Right? And like that's one of the cool things about it. Like he even mentioned it in the. He was like, part of me felt like I'm always trying to like psychoanalyze the person's on stage to like see how are they really feeling in that moment. And like there were parts during this set where like I felt that he was slightly annoyed because, I mean, I know what it sounds like from the crowd out in the crowd. I can't imagine what it sounds like on stage having the crowd pointed at you and they're all singing. Like I wonder if it's hard to hear himself. Like that has to be super annoying to try and perform a song and like you can barely even hear yourself to do it correctly because everyone else is singing. Like on the one hand, I see how that's really cool. That's a very awesome place to be, like having created something so profound that it's like it reaches all humans inside this building. They all know it and feel it and love it. Like, that's a rare place to be. But then also, like, yeah, you guys paid a ticket to come see me perform these songs. You didn't come to fucking sing along. Like, I know you're going to, but, like, do you want to hear me or not? And that was the thing that I struggled with. Because I'll be honest, I sang every one of those fucking songs. I sure did.
Yeah, like I can't imagine you didn't.
Yeah.
Especially with how gayer for mayor you are.
Yeah, like it's actually difficult for me in any setting. Like, no matter who the artist is, if it's a song that I really love, it's very difficult for me to not sing along. Working next to me or around me is often, I can only assume, and slightly annoying because I listen to my music all day, and singing helps me concentrate, and it just helps the time pass by because I, like, throw myself into this fantasy of, like, what if I was this person on stage, or adversely, like, I'm creating, like almost like a music video in my own head about the song, but it involves me and my life. So I'm very wrapped up in that. But I've never had anybody tell me to shut up. The only thing they've told me to shut up is whistling, because I do whistle a lot, and I know a lot of people hate that, but I'm pretty good at it, so it's not, like, annoying in the sense
You're
that...
a pro whistler?
Yeah, like, I'm pretty good at it.
Dude.
I would try and do it for you, but
No, I'm okay. You don't have
mics
to.
and
I'm not a
stuff,
fan
they
of
don't
whistling either.
they, like, cancel it out. But yeah, it's, like, bird level quality. I'm pretty good whistler. I actually learned recently...
Is that on your resume?
Say what?
Is that on your resume? Do you, like, give that to your employers?
It isn't, but, it's a good... I should put that on there, because then it's like, hey, if you're,
Special skills, man.
If your fucking lunch bell goes off, I can be the alternative, just like,
Yeah.
like, I got it. But I'd learned recently that not everyone who can sing can also whistle. I always thought they went hand in hand, but apparently not.
I'm not a strong whistler, but, like, I can do the basics. I still have, like, this weird, like, half envy, half hatred for the people that can, like, put their fingers in their mouth and whistle really loud.
Yeah, that one's really loud.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's cool, but I also, like, every time someone does it, I'm like, you fucking bitch. Like, why can't I do that? Why can't I get, a piece of the pie even,
I think that's a good position. I think that most people hate that performance of the finger whistle because they can't do it, right? When people whistle,
absolutely,
most of the time they whistle because they want to be noticed, they want to be heard, they want to be seen in some way, right? But this one, that's the loudest one, and so most of the time I think it's just envy, like, God, your fucking whistle's so much louder than mine. Because that's why I want to do it.
It pisses me off. We have this is like a stupid personal anecdote, but we have a guy in my fraternity named Leo, and sometimes we're having a little function. I got to get people to quiet down, and I can shout pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
So I never struggle with getting people to pay attention to me, but I'll always shout, and then I'll start talking, and by, like, the third or fourth word, here he is doing his little finger whistle, and I have to stop my whole fucking conversation to, like, glare at him and be like, you son of a bitch. Like, if I could do that, I would be that guy, but I can't.
Yeah.
So you just, like, you're stealing not only the spotlight, but you're making me jealous. It's fucking wrong, and I think it's evil.
I think it's also...
If you can do the...
It's also kind of, like, jarring because, like, even though he was on your side, he was on your team trying to assist you in your endeavor, the fact that he outshined you with the volume.
Exactly.
Right? And not only that, it's also, like, it's jarring. It is always so loud that it's like if you're nearby it, you're like, every time. And that it always, like, whenever anything makes you wince, you're always, like, automatically defensive about it, and you're like, you want to attack that thing. Not, like, really, but you know what I mean. Like, just like...
Your fight or flight jumps in.
Like, bro, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, thank you, but shut the fuck up. Yeah.
No, I totally agree, but yeah. So put pro whistler on your resume,
Pro
just for
whistler. But
yeah,
yeah,
not wrestler.
no, I'm not. I am not a wrestler. The only thing I wrestle with is my own demons,
Amen.
and I'm not good at it. Anyways, but yeah, the John Mayer show was fantastic. It was great. He played a new song, and I was super gay for that song right now. I mean, I watched a few. I had to go on TikTok after I got home to like see who recorded shows because I don't record anything because I'm better than you. No, no, I hate like, bro,
Experiencing it through your phone rather than being there.
yeah, you're not even watching. Like
Yeah.
the whole purpose of you recording is to show someone else. That's all it's for. It's not for you. Okay, you're not gonna go back and watch it later because you were there, you remembered it, but you might not because you had your fucking face in your phone the whole time, bro. Just watch the show and then live vicariously through the footage of other people. It's the world we live in now. If you don't do it, someone else will. That's for sure.
There's like 1,000 other people that are going to.
Yeah, and I found all kinds of videos from the show I was at. There was a funny thing that happened. As at what I would expect every John Mayer show, there's at least one woman in the crowd with the sign that has something to do with the fact that, hey, I want you to have sex with me, right? This sign for this show was John's got a song called "Who Says," right? And the one of the main lines in that song is "Who says I can't get stoned," right? So this lady wrote, "Who says I can't get stoned" by John Mayer, but then stoned was crossed out and it said boned underneath. And John, he was like, "Listen, I don't normally bring attention to these signs." He's like, "But this sign is so cartoonishly forward that I have to address it." And like he goes on to just like he basically just makes fun of her for like 8 minutes. And the lady wrote her phone number on the back, and he was like, "I want you to know, I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to call that number, right?"
I ain't calling, man.
He was like, "But I can almost guarantee you that number's getting called tonight. Like, you've been holding that sign up. Somebody wrote that number down." Yeah. He was like, "But wouldn't it be funny if, like, you know, you're in your car and you're on your way home?" And he's like, "Imagine, how would I address that? How would I call in that number and be like, hey, so, is that sex still available?" He's like, "I'm not going to do that." He's like, "That'd be so strange." He's like, "I'll send in Paul, the understudy. He knows all the moves. He's great. You'll love him." Yeah.
He learned from the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. That was one of the highlights of, I think, the solo tour is that I think he does a little more talking and like actual just like riffing in between things. Where like the other times he'll talk every now and then, but I think now it's more like not anecdotal, but like there was he played a couple old videos. He showed like a promo video from like 2001 for Room for Squares of just like him as like a child, like 20 years old, just promoting his CD. And then there was another one for, I think, Continuum. Like, it was pretty cool. It was very nostalgic, like, to see, like, here's me at my first album. Here's me at the album that turned me into like a global superstar. And he's like, and then now here I am playing the same songs that like I started with, just me and a guitar. Like, it was very surreal, and it was very touching, right? I thought that was a lot of fun. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to talk about the new song he played. Hold on, let me pull up the old setlist.fm. Listener, if you don't mess with setlist.fm, you're missing out. What is that, Chris? Well, let me tell you. All you got to do is you pull up this site and you type in the band that you just recently saw, right? And it'll tell you the set list, how long. It'll even put in little things. Oh, he made a joke or riffed about this. Yeah, so he played for 2 hours and 21 minutes. Boom, right there. The new song was called Driftin'. It was fantastic. I think he's really leaning into. Now, I don't think, well, don't want to say this. I'm going to say it. It's just a fact of life. It's just how it goes. As you age, your vocal cords lose strength, right? You lose your capacity. He had surgery on his throat, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think he can hit those high notes like he, was so comfortable back in 2007. And I think he really is leaning into that, and I think it's really developing like a very cool pocket for his vocal style and his guitar playing. Driftin', I really am excited to hear what the produced version of that song will sound like. It sounded great live, but I can't wait to hear what he does in the production avenue. He did like some acoustic songs, and then he got on piano and played a little bit. He just did a little snippet of Harry Styles' As It Was. I don't know that song, but everybody else did, and everybody screamed.
You should check it out.
He did a little snippet of Take On Me by Aha. Then he went back into acoustic, did Stop This Train. Oh, we were talking about T-Swift earlier. This was the first time I've ever heard him play Half of My Heart.
Really?
Yeah. That's, for those of you who don't know, that was I don't know if it was a collaboration, but she was featured on that song originally on, I think it's Battle Studies. Yeah, Battle Studies. She's in she just does like a vocal duet of the last like chorus at the end. So that was fun. I got to hear Walt Grace's Submarine Test, January 1967, which arguably may be one of the greatest songs ever written. And I'm not just saying that because I'm gayer for mayor. I'm saying that because it's literally a short story, and it's fantastic. And then I thought what was really cool is at the end of the night, the very end of the set list, he played on something I don't think I'd ever seen before. I'd seen it done on an electric guitar, but I don't think I'd ever seen it in an acoustic guitar. But it was a double neck acoustic guitar.
Like a 6 and a 12?
I don't remember. I don't know. I'll be honest, I wasn't counting the strings. But I think I did see him play on a 7-string at the beginning. I think so.
Bro can't make up his mind how many strings he wants.
No, it's not that he can't make up his mind. It's that he's so good, he needs all these different avenues to be able to express his musical ability. It's all about all about perspective.
You should take a break from the meat writing about him and all of his strings.
I'm an unofficial PR person, just like, no, that's not what it is. You got to look at it
That's
this way.
That's not why he needs a 15-string, banjo. He needs it because he's just so fucking good.
He literally knows too many notes. He needs to be able to play them all.
You better start. What's the weird? I don't want to say weird because I don't know anything about it, but there's some like Eastern culture that has like a completely different like musical scale. And instead of like the standard C to C range, like I don't know.
I mean, are you talking about a sitar?
No, it's not like a specific instrument.
Oh, you're okay. Well, if you're talking about like music theory and like notes and shit like that, you're talking to the wrong guy because I don't know.
Yeah.
Jack.
You can't play an instrument, can you?
I can play the vocals.
That's pretty
kind
close.
Of an instrument, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
I mean, yeah, it's an organic instrument, but no, that nothing that has been constructed by the hands of men can I play. I can keep a beat with my 2 arms, but I can't. As soon as you throw the foot in there, it's like a flood of autism, and I can't do anything.
See, normally people tell me when they can't play drums, they're like, "Oh, it's usually just like doing different patterns with my hands just throws me off."
No,
and I'm like, I don't think so, man. I just don't think that's. Maybe it's just because I've been playing for so long, but I just don't find that to be the difficult part.
I've been pecking and tapping and keeping rhythm since 1996. But as soon as you throw the foot thing in there, that's when I fuck up. I'm pretty sure me tapping and pecking on things is the reason that I was diagnosed, or at least medicated with Adderall, is because they just wanted me to stop banging on stuff. But alas, it did not take. I still do it. But yeah, let me see. Did I hear? No, I heard If I Ever Get Around to Living the last time. Born and Raised, In the Blood was great. Shouldn't matter, but it does.
Do you have any surprise moments of the show that just really kind of took you back? Anything throw you for a loop?
Throw me for a loop. I think... Well, yeah, I would say the little, like, videos that he played of, like, just from, like, the first one he played was the Room for Squares interview. That one's from January 16th, 2002, right? And, like, it was weird to see that, just because, like, when I think of 2002, the main thing that I think about is, like, how traumatized I was after 9/11, and to see him just, like, chipper and just, like, talking about, oh yeah, I got this sick record coming out, you guys should watch. And I was like, didn't 9/11 like just happen? But, like,
didn't they hit the towers, dude? You don't even care?
But I mean, it's also,
is
like,
John Mayer a Bin Laden apologist?
It's just, it was strange. I mean, I think it just comes from the hindsight view. Like, in that time, like, my memory of that terror probably was only so long, right? Because as with everything, you move on. Life keeps going. All the shit in your personal life keeps happening, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So you're still going to be drawn to those things. But, like, I mean, it's just with anything that, like, is big and bad that happens. Like, yeah, it sucks for that time period, but then, like, you slowly become desensitized to it, and it stops being in the forefront, and now it's just, like, a fear in the back of your mind. But, like, and I assume that's just all that was. It's like, yeah, what is it? September, October, November, December, January. Oh, it really was only 4 months ago. But yeah, like, you know, that I thought that was a little strange, like, not even, but I guess, what are you going to do? You going to mention it in your fucking promo for your album? No. I don't know.
Kind of a mood killer.
Yeah, like, hey, so I know those 3,000 people just died, but you should check out my album, Room for Squares. It's got some really great songs on it. I think it'll help you feel better. You know, that's not the promo he's going to cut, but it was funny for me and weird in that instance. Because I mean,
a lot of people did that same thing, didn't they, though? Think about all, like, the country artists that came out with an album like 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
They did, unfortunately, plug 9/11. So is it too much of a stretch for John Mayer to do it?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I don't know.
Maybe not now. I think it's ridiculous in 2023.
Yeah, it was just strange for that. I think, what else was, I mean, I got to hear a little more of the Born and Raised album. The Born and Raised album was an album he put out after Continuum. No. After Battle Studies. So it was like Continuum, the pop global icon, right? And then Battle Studies had some pop stuff, but it was more like almost like a dreamy, like, indie alternative kind of thing. There was some, he did a Crossroads cover, which is like blues as hell. But then after that, he went right into, like, Americana, which is a thing that he's a pop icon, and so Columbia didn't, like, promote that record at all. Like, they didn't do anything for him. Like, he toured for it, but then he had to, like, I think that's when he had to have surgery on his throat. And so then he was, like, gone for a while, and then they just kind of, like, swept it under the rug. They also kind of did the same thing for Paradise Valley, also another not pop record, so they weren't, like, too keen on it. But personally, I would say those are probably two of his best records, at least, and not in the pop sense. Continuum is probably one of the greatest, I would say, greatest pop records of all time, pop rock records, but for what Born and Raised and Paradise Valley are, and like an Americana indie kind of thing, they're fantastic. They're so good. But yeah, that was do you know the band Dire Straits?
Yes.
Okay, you know that song, oh no, I can't even think of it right now. Give me 1 second. I'll think of it, because I gotta remember the record name. Dire Straits. Yeah, okay, so you remember that song called Sultans of Swing? We are the
Yes.
Sultans of Swing. Da 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 da. So on that record, Brothers in Arms, there's like a big silver guitar. You're not going to be able to see that because it's not going
I definitely cannot see that.
Focus. But there's a big silver guitar. Like it's like made of the entire thing's made of aluminum or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about guitars. But John Mayer pulled that one of those out, and he was mainly taught, he said, this is to the guitar players right now. He's like, you ever go into a guitar store and you see a guitar and you're just like fascinated with it, you fall in love with it, you love the tone, but it's only good for like one thing. And he was like, that's what this guitar is for. He's like, I bought it for no other reason than to play this song right here. And I think let me see if I can. I think, was it If I Ever Get Around to Livin'? Is that what? Or was it Edge of Desire? I don't remember. But he only played one song on it. But it was so strange that, like, so, I mean, this is all just ignorance. I don't fucking know John in any capacity. But, like, I was like, oh, really? You can only you've only made one song on that? Like, you don't. I would assume that he's, like, overtly creative. He's a singer, songwriter, guitar player, piano player, harmonica player. That's another thing that I think I'm always impressed by, is when he goes into the like Born and Raised songs, he'll play guitar, and he'll have like the neck piece harmonica, and he'll like play a melody on the harmonica and a melody on the guitar, totally different, and then jump into a vocal melody that's entirely different. It's just amazing. I can't fathom it. I tried to learn how to play guitar and like sing, right? Learn how to play a song that I know very well in and out, sing in and out for 15 years, right? But as soon as I go and do it and sing it, both the playing and the words mess up, and I'm just fascinated by it. I think that's where a lot of my allure for John Mayer comes from, is that I'm just fascinated by how musically
He can multitask.
Say what?
That he can multitask.
Yeah, really. That's really
I think
what
that
it
might
is.
be the ADHD, bro. I think that's a youth thing.
There are some things I can multitask, but not very many. That's actually part of the reason why I hate cooking, is because, like, the sauce has to be at this temperature for this long, and then the noodles are at this temperature for this long, and then you got to do this thing in the oven for this long at this time. It's like,
man, you're struggling to make pasta. I don't know what's wrong with you.
oh, it's not even like pasta. It's just like, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, but like, sauce and one thing, this and another, green beans and this. You've got fucking this in the oven, like, and you know what it comes down to? I think it comes down to like the algebraic, like, solve for x, right? In order to get all of them to be done at the same time, I have to know, like, it's that math that fucking stresses me out, because I want everything to be done at the exact same time so that I can serve everything together and it's all relatively the same temperature. I can't fucking do it. It always ends up, this thing is done 8-10 minutes before everything else, and now it's just going to be fucking room temp by the time everything else is done. I fucking hate it. I can't do it.
You heard it here first, junkies. Don't go to Chris's dinner parties, because all that shit's going to be cold.
Yeah. Also, if you are invited to a dinner party, don't show up, because I didn't send that invite. I would never. I do not have the appropriate domicile to house a dinner party. Maybe many years ago when me and Gennaro first met, when I had my big apartment, maybe Like, I threw some parties there. I don't know if did you ever come to my Elkhart apartment? It was on the second floor, had a balcony.
I went to your house that was like by me and Granger,
Yeah,
but
that was my buddy's
I had
house.
never been. You invited me a couple times, but if you were familiar, when we first met, Chris, I didn't have a driver's license. I
That's
was too
right.
young,
You were a
so
child.
yeah, I could not. I don't know if at the time reasonably I could tell my mom, hey, so I'm gonna go smoke some pot with my friend Chris at his apartment.
Oh, this was a
He's
drink
like,
invite too.
oh damn, well definitely not when I was 14, man.
You weren't
Um,
drinking at 14?
I wasn't gonna tell my mom that shit though.
Oh. No,
Um,
I'd have told your mom I'm like a tutor or something. I'm smart. I could have pulled
that's
that off.
way worse. I think my mom would have. My mom knew I wasn't studying. Fuck man.
I'd lay the Riz on her and I'd get her to I'd
He
get
said,
her to
I'm
be
gonna
like, yeah.
rizz up Lisa right now.
Listen, moms love me. I have always done very well with parents actually in general. There's only one relationship where the parents didn't really like me. But that's only because I wasn't Christian and they were like the way I am gayer for mayor, they were gayer for Jesus, right?
Right.
I remember one time I rode my bike from my house to her house and I came straight from school. So I was wearing my band tees, as I was one to do in high school. And when I got there, I knocked on the door. She opened it. She goes, "What are you wearing?" And I looked down, and it was my Mudvayne shirt. And it had like 2 giant pentagrams with these giant like monster like skulls. They had like goat horns, and it was very demonic. And she was like, "You can't bring that in here." And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna go home." And she was like, I was like, "I'll just turn it inside out." And so that's what I did.
That was your solution?
I
That's a
took my
smart
shirt off,
solution.
turned it inside out, and went in the house. And her parents, I remember like, what's with your shirt? And I was like, oh, it had something on it that I don't think you'd like. So I just turned it around.
You couldn't lie and say, oh yeah, I stained it, so I didn't want to look like a jackass. You say
No.
like, nah, there's actually just demons on it, and you're a huge pussy who
Yeah,
loves the Bible.
I'm sorry. I was being truthful and honest. You were the one that's
I
like,
would've
your
lied, bro.
go-to
I
is
gotta-
lie.
Hell yeah. If I'm wearing my shirt inside out, I'm 110% gonna lie about it.
Nah. See, this was the same family where the dad once bloody murder yelled at me because I brought over a DVD of the Blair Witch, and I was watching it in the basement with his daughter, and he was like, "Get this out of my house right now!" And I was like, "Bro, it's a movie. Like, it's not real."
It's kind of a fucked up movie, though. You can't
yeah.
lie.
But and I guess,
The second one's worse because it makes no sense.
yeah, well, yeah, they waited too long to make it, but no, it wouldn't have been good even if they had done it right after. But well, I'm trying to think, what year was this? This would have been 2007. This what 10 years after the movie had come? No, when did Blair Witch come out? That was late 90s, wasn't it?
99, I think.
99. So it had been almost been 10 years. By this time, I would assume that everybody now knows that that movie was fake. At the time, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the 2 years after, 3 years after. A lot of people thought it was real. Everybody thought it was real.
They had some good marketing with it to make it seem super
Fantastic
fucking
marketing.
real.
And
I
think
remember they had like websites up that was like finding the Blair Witch and shit.
Yep.
Granted, I wasn't alive during that time, so I wasn't a part of the whole promotional. But there's a
Right.
bunch of like really good like YouTube like deep dives into what they did, and I think people need to do that again. I'm trying to think of a similar movie, maybe like Chronicle, or fuck, what's the other one that I'm thinking like the found footage shit?
Cloverfield?
Cloverfield. Yeah. I think they did something kind of similar with it. Is it the same people
Who? Cloverfield and Blair Witch?
in Blair Witch? Yeah.
No, I think wasn't J.J. Abrams Cloverfield?
I don't know.
Jamie,
Either
pull
him or
that up.
Josh Trank.
What movie were we talking about? Cloverfield. Yep, I was right. Produced by J.J. Abrams and written by Drew Goddard. Well, let's see. Did Drew Goddard have anything to do with the Blair Witch? He did not.
I just feel like found footage movies realistically are all the same, at least in
Yeah.
my head. Like Blair Witch, Chronicle, Cloverfield, all of those movies live in the same universe in my head. Because if you have a camcorder and it's 2007, you can make a fucking $300 million movie.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but you could. I mean, I think arguably this is a side tangent. I've had this discussion with one of my friends before. I think if Transformers was a found footage movie, that would be probably the best movie of the last generation, guaranteed.
Super 8. Wasn't Super 8 a
Super
found
8?
footage movie?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That had to be the same dude that made Josh Trank, the guy who also made Fantastic Four. I think
Who?
Super 8 was the same dude.
Okay, well, let's see. I remember I didn't even watch that movie in theaters. I didn't stream it. I didn't rent the DVD. You know how I watched that movie?
How?
One of my ex-girlfriend's fathers, not fathers as in she had plural, but an ex-girlfriend of mine, her father, there we go. Her father worked at a factory, and one of his co-workers liked to illegally download movies and burn them onto DVDs, and then her dad would just buy them for like $5, and that's how I watched Super 8, was from an unmarked fucking CD-ROM with the movie on it. Okay,
That's how I
now who
watched
are
the
you
B movie when I was in the 6th grade.
produced by Brian Burke. Yup. What else did he do? Oh, looky there. Pulling it full circle. You know how I said I was watching Fringe? This dude had a hand in it. That's crazy. Filmography, Cloverfield. Yep, you were right. That was actually his first one, 2008.
Yeah,
And then 10 Cloverfield Lane.
that movie sucks.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I was
Is there what's the Cloverfield? Is it Cloverfield Paradox? Is the one that's on Netflix that literally had nothing to fucking do with Cloverfield?
Yeah, I don't. Every time I hover over that movie, I think that I've seen it. I'm almost certain I have, but every time I float over it, I'm like, I don't remember this, but I'm almost certain I would have watched it because I enjoyed those Cloverfield. But yeah, I was disappointed with the 10 Cloverfield Lane because that had fucking John Goodman in it, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted it to be great, and then it was just kind of mediocre. Let me see. Executive producer in television, this Burke guy. Lost, The Catch, What About Brian, 6 Degrees, Fringe, Anatomy of Hope, Undercovers, Person of Interest, Alcatraz, Revolution, Almost Human. I'm not going to name... Ooh, Westworld, nice.
Yeah. I haven't seen most of those, and I don't think you have either.
What, Westworld?
No, not Westworld. All the fucking things you just named.
I got excited about Westworld because that was the one thing I'd seen. I only watched the first season. The first season was great. I don't know if I care enough about second season.
I get Westworld and West Wing mixed up a lot, but they're very different.
Yeah. One's about robots, and the other's about the fucking boring day-to-day things of the government.
I do the same thing with House of Cards and what's the new Game of Thrones?
House of Dragons?
Yeah, I do the same thing. Womp womp womp.
Womp womp. No, that's. Two of the three words are the same, so I have to give you that. But Cards and Dragons aren't even they're not even similar in size.
Well, maybe they're talking about like giant cardinals, which would be the same thing as a dragon, right?
Giant cardinals? Is that like an Indiana cryptid that I've never heard of?
Probably. Kind of like the Chupacabra or Mothman.
I feel like a giant cardinal would just be a thunderbird, and that's a real thing. A real cryptid, that is.
Oh, I was like, bro, I do not know. Is that the dodo bird? How big were dodo birds? This is so off track. I'm sorry,
bro. That's fine. That's how the show goes. But no, dodo birds are like the size of a chicken.
Aren't they like recreating that shit?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. Is that they're gonna bring it back. I'm like, why? It didn't serve any purpose. It died for a reason.
We need to bring back the carrier pigeon. That's what needs to come back.
I mean, ooh, you know. Okay, so just to wrap up the John Mayer thing, it was fantastic. It was great. I bought a hoodie from not a hoodie, a beanie from Joy. It says "Keep Hope Alive." It's purple. It's very fantastic. I don't know where it's at right now, but listen to Joy Oladukun, Oladokun, I believe. Maybe you'll get close with that spelling, but she's really great. The song I was really enamored with was "I See America," fantastic. But yeah, John Mayer was great. There's a 80% chance I'll buy another ticket to see him when he comes back to Indianapolis. But yeah, this is like one of the few times I'll bring up politics on the show, but Gennaro's one of the few people that like I actually enjoy talking a little bit of politics with. Did you see about the Tennessee legislators getting
oh my god
booted
yeah.
and like just denied access into the Senate or whatever?
We're talking about that tonight in my public affairs course.
Yeah.
Because this is like unprecedented history that's in the making, and it's super fucked.
It was 3 Democrats. Democrats? They got harped at and kicked out, but then only 2 of them were like banned, so to speak. And can you guess how much melanin these 2 people that got banned were? More than this.
Quite a bit, Chris.
More than this.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. So it's not even like sneaky. It's not even like under the rug, like, oh, maybe they're being racist. Like, no, it's like,
it's racism. Like,
yeah. There were 3 people you had problems with, and the 2 that you really put the hammer down were the black people. Like, be sneakier at if anything. Like,
make it a little foggier. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
like the way that the younger generation is very quick to point out racism, and then you're gonna do it so blatantly.
Stupid, bro.
Do better, Tennessee.
Stupid.
Do better. I guess I shouldn't put it all on the state of Tennessee, because it's not the state of Tennessee, and it's never the case with that. Like, it's never, oh, it's all Russia's fault. It's like, no, it's the government of Russia. It's like, oh, it's America, and it's the government of America. Sure, there's groups of people in these instances that aren't helping the situation, but the power lies in the government, right? So Tennessee legislature, is that?
Yeah.
Tennessee legislature, yeah. Do better. But yeah. And then what else is going crazy? Oh, did you hear about the Fed Now program?
I don't think so. What are you talking about?
So the Fed Now program is where they're going to do away with physical currency. And everything.
Oh,
the Fed Now program is just going to be a middleman between your employers and your bank, right?
Well, do you know why they're doing that?
Well, maybe. No.
Okay, I'll give you the spark notes of it.
Do it.
So right now the United States and the US dollar is the like form of currency used as the oil standard.
Yeah.
Right? But Russia, China, South Africa, Brazil, Venezuela, probably.
It's like all the main countries whose like biggest export is oil, right? Like the people who make the most of it are all teaming together.
Yes.
And they're gonna go with what, like the China thing.
They're creating their own digital currency, which kind of fucks over the U.S. when it comes to oil standard. Saudi Arabia is the other country.
Yeah.
So in response, the United States is creating their own digital currency, which we'll see how it works out. It's either going to completely tank the U.S. economy, or it's going to boost it back to being the dominant oil standard once again.
Fingers crossed. But I'd seen a bunch of people explaining it in depths that from people who understand it more than I do, that they were talking about it's kind of like our own fault not ours and the American people, but like our own American government's fault for using their power of being this oil standard for so long. And they were putting like sanctions on people, tanking their economies because they wouldn't play ball. And now it's just finally we've been the bully long enough that these other countries have had enough, and they're like, yo, let's just fucking team up, do our own thing, and fuck those guys. I'm like, I get that. I understand that on an atomic level. I get that so completely. And it just sucks that like we're on the receiving end of it, you know? Because like I was seeing that this FedNow program, in the sense that it has all of your money, that I don't know this is true, but it says it was a clause that it was a possibility that they could delete your money if you didn't use it in an appropriate amount of time, right? And then with every transaction that you do through FedNow, it's going to cost you like 40 cents. Not that 40 cents is, you know, anything, but like
it builds up.
Every time it'll build up. You know, that's just free money. They're just taking your money. For what? It costs 40 cents for the electrical program to run this transaction.
There's probably some fucking loaded up billionaire that's going to make money off of those transactions too.
Well, it's the Federal Reserve, which is an illegal institution. Privatized banks are not legal. Check out the book. I think it's called the Monster from, I always want to say Montauk. The Monster from Montauk? Is that it? That might be it. But it's about how the Federal Reserve was built, and how like it was a secret meeting, and then the government was just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, just do what you got to do. But yeah, I'm anti-Federal Reserve. But yeah, it's that in itself has been like TikTok knows that these videos scare the hell out of me, and they've been showing me them nonstop, just in more and more detail each video. It's been making me really nervous because I'm like, oh no, if the US dollar fucking tanks, what does that mean for all my money? That means it's like worthless. It's like
you're gonna be double poor.
Poor squared. Yeah.
Poor squared. That's fucked, dude.
Poor to the 9th power. Yeah, I'm gonna be all fucked. Like, it's just very, very scary. Only because like this isn't a problem that I can fix. You know, if it's like, oh, I overspent and I'm gonna be broke for 2 weeks, like, okay, I'll go buy ramen and I have everything I need here. I just need to like pinch pennies. But if all of my money is now less value than what it was, and like with that things are gonna go up and my money's gonna be worth less, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is gonna happen? Like, but in that panic, I'm like, oh no, like we're all gonna be broke. But then I'm like, oh well, the government wouldn't let us all go poor, because then whose money are they gonna take? If we don't have money, they don't have money, right? But then I was like, oh no, but they would let us fucking bleed out, and die. They don't fucking care. They were fucking drugging people just pulling them out off the street and drugging them for experiments, you know?
They make money if you default on your loans, bro. Like, what the fuck? It's
very, I've been very panicked about the situation, and I've just been trying to do the age-old tactic of just tunnel vision. Just focus on you and the things that directly are in your line of sight. Don't worry about that shit. There's nothing you can do about it. Anything you learn about it is just going to make you more paranoid. So just fucking, when it happens, and we'll deal with it when it does. So just like, don't focus on it. But yeah, I saw today, changing to another subject, let me see if I can pull up this thing. I saw NPR posted this. It said, there was another shooting today, as of April 10th, at the Old National Bank in Louisville, right? And this is the 146th mass shooting. As of April 10th, there have been more mass shootings than there have been days in this year.
That's fucked, bro.
That is fucking bananas. That is so uncalled for. Like, being one of the well, after the talk we just had, it's kind of ironic they say one of the wealthiest nations in the country, right? How is this a problem that we deal with? I mean, we all know why. It's 3 letters. NRA. But I'm not saying I'm anti-guns. I like the the Second Amendment was built on this idea that the people should have weapons in case their government gets too fucking handsy and we got to put them in their place. I like that. But I also think there's a lot of people who don't need guns and shouldn't have guns. It's just, I'm not trying to take your guns, but I think it should be harder to get one. They are only built to injure, right? So I think there should be some more testing done in order for you to get one. That's all. I think there are a lot of people who should have guns. When inevitably this country goes to war, I don't know if anyone will ever be crazy enough to do it, but if anyone were to ever invade this country, I would feel pretty comfortable knowing that the people who have guns now would be fucking right out there eager to fucking join in and fight. So in that instance, I'm glad people have guns. It's just I don't know how to fix it, I think I'm gonna go.
Australia fixed it.
Say what?
Australia fixed that problem.
That they did. What was that, in the late 90s? They had a mass shooting, and then the president or whatever they have there is like, no, and then just put a ban on it, and they've never had another since. Look how easy
it hasn't been a problem. Yeah.
And Australians are basically Americans. They drink just as much. They have the same, how do I say it? They enjoy all the same things. They're still very, capitalists and, Nike and, comedy is very big there. Music is very big there. Not to say other countries don't have those things, but American music and American comedy, right? They're very big there. So, they're basically the same as us. I don't understand why we can't just take a page out of their book, the Aussies. The Aussies are cool. Never had any problem with the Aussies. Why aren't we taking a page out of their book to be just ban assault rifles, just whatever. I don't know, man. I'm hungry for, what's the word I want to use? Radical change. Radical. I'm going to use the word radical because that's what it would require. It's we've been building this antiquated system for so long, and now we're just starting hey, yeah, you guys, it's been fine for you for all this time, but it's finally starting to plummet for the rest of us, and we're not going to deal with it. We need to look at what France is doing right now. Pull a little French Revolution. Have you seen the videos?
I think you should start being really animated when you're talking about topics like these and become the anti-Alex Jones.
Listen,
Not only did Sandy Hook happen, Sandy Hook was so fucking real, and this is what we need. Yeah, I think you should do that. I think that would be pretty fucking entertaining.
I could do. We could work on this. Do we'll pull a bit straight from Family Guy. It'll be what grinds my gears, and it'll just be me, hot and ranting for 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 10. Who knows? Depending on the subject, right? I can rant.
How strongly you feel about as a subject, really.
Yeah. I mean, it also comes down to I can be very passionate about something, but if I don't really know all the details, I'm not going to speak up because I don't want to sound like an idiot. I'm very, very self-aware of when I don't know thing. I saw this video the other day of somebody. What were they talking about? They were talking about maybe abortion. I think it was abortion. And it was this guy was saying one thing, this guy was saying one thing. They were debating. Some guy comes in out of the front, chimes in, and then this guy asks the walk-in guy a question. He's like, well, I don't know. And then this other guy was like, so, how we were having a conversation? He's like, the fact that you don't have an answer for that question tells me you don't know anything about it, and so you shouldn't be involved in this conversation. And I was like, oh, all the people around were like,
see your way out.
Damn, bro, that's, you're allowed to have an opinion, but if you don't know enough about the topic, you can't contribute to the conversation. You can have an opinion, but you can't contribute to the conversation. And that's what I'm very aware of. If I don't know enough about it, that's one of the reasons why I like talking to you about politics, is because you're way more informed than I am. Like, you actually like have an interest in this stuff, and I just have an interest out of fear. I'm afraid of what they're going to do to the country that I reside in, that I will now have to abide by, or just like have to be affected by. So, yeah. Get me informed, and then I'll rant. Yeah.
I'll help you out with that. I'll give you some info on things.
And
it can be like info battles instead of info wars.
Yeah. Info
info conflicts. Info disagreement.
Info. We'll come up with something, because I definitely,
we'll figure something funny.
I would really love to have, like, I mean, I have opinions, I have stances, a lot of stances that I don't normally talk about on the show, just because I really just want to focus on the music, and I know a lot of like politics and stuff can be divisive, and not that I'm afraid to speak my mind, I'm not, but like I just want to be informed, and I don't want to ruffle the feathers of any guests. I'd rather speak my mind when it's with you and me, and let my guests have their own opinions. They're allowed to. And I don't want to shit on them for that, because I don't bring them in for their opinions. I bring them in because I like the product they make. Yeah, I want to get to know them, but, I don't know. It's a slippery slope. I never want to have someone on there like, oh yeah, Hitler had some good ideas. I'm like, whoa, dude. What do you
Just
mean?
like Alex Jones.
Yeah. It's like, I hope you're talking about like the fringe science that he was into, because that shit's pretty interesting. Like, death rays and time travel. Like, that shit's all really cool. But like, to hammer it home, like, America's government thought those ideas were pretty cool. That's why we forgave Nazi scientists Project Paperclip, and we brought them over to us to work for NASA, and that's why we went to the moon. Nazi scientists took us to the moon. They built the rocket that got us there. So,
yeah, checkmate, Hitler.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think there was one thing that they were called. It was called the Iron Bell. It was like this fringe science that they were working on. It was used. I think it was like, it was either a UFO type thing or it was a teleporting thing, and like they have instances of where they got it to like move. I don't know. It was an excerpt from a thing I listened to many years ago. But yeah, the fringe science is fucking cool. Did you ever play Wolfenstein?
Those games were good.
That was the fringe Nazis the weapons that they create and the monsters that was what the fringe Nazis were doing, was interesting things like that, trying to find the limits of human. That's probably, I probably shouldn't promote that, because they those things aren't as ideal. They're experimenting on
Eugenics.
People. Not cool. But like the teleporting and the laser beams and the death rays, like, all that shit's fascinating. And I wish, well, I shouldn't say I wish, because I know the American government did still look into that. CIA. Did you ever see those documents that they released where they, like, teach people how to astral project and, like, walk through walls?
I think astral projection is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And I think we should do it more.
I saw a video yesterday of a lady who claims that she was an astral projector, and that she had astrally projected herself into the base in Antarctica, right? And because it's like super high secret, the American government also has astral projectors, like, I don't know, like as security. They're like walking around in this other dimension of sorts to like guard it. And like, she said that she ran into a guy and he like chased her out of there, and she had to like leave and then go back into a different spot and then leave, and she was like trying to map out this place. I don't know, man. This is where I start getting like into the questionable conspiracy theories, because like there are some conspiracy theories that I don't believe, but I would really love if it were true, just because it'd be a great story. Like Hollow Earth. Have you ever heard of the hollow Earth theory?
Yeah, the hollow Earth theory is crazy.
That's fascinating. I would love if that
Yeah.
were true. That's so cool. Scary, but cool.
I agree.
Or there's another one.
I'm just waiting for the Mars colony to be real. That's really all I want.
We've got a ways till we get to Mars. We gotta build a base on the moon and not get attacked by the things that are also on the moon already, allegedly. But yeah,
The demons on the moon. Moon's haunted.
Moon's haunted. Well, there's conspiracy theories and even accounts from former astronauts that say that when they went to the moon initially, they saw structures on the moon.
They brought guns.
Not in the lit part, but in the dark side of the moon, right? Where, conveniently enough, is where all the water is, which is how we're going to be able to build bases on the moon so that we can store fuel there so that we can get to Mars in a timely fashion. I actually just saw an article the other day that they engineered a new type of jet engine that uses some kind of like plasma of something. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to convey it, but it would shorten the trip from however many years it initially would be to 6 weeks.
Pretty impressive.
Very impressive. Yeah. And that cuts down on a lot of like cost of fuel and like just rations in general. So I don't know. I'm pretty stoked for the future. And then you've got this AI that's taken over everything. I can't fucking
Don't use
wait.
AI in college. You'll get flagged for cheating.
What? How are they
So
gonna?
if you use like that Chat GPT shit,
Oh, do they have like
you're gonna get flagged for cheating so hard.
scanners for it now?
Mm-hmm.
How do they know?
Another AI tool, bro.
Oh, so they got an AI to fucking narc out the AI?
Yeah.
Typical fucking authoritarians. We're gonna
That's what I'm
make a
saying,
thing
bro.
that's gonna keep you from doing a thing easily.
Like, I mean, I think personally, if you can cheat on an assignment, you should. If they make assignments too hard to not cheat on them or too complex to not cheat on them, then you have to put in the work, and it's probably important. But if they make it so you can cheat on it, like you fucking should. Like no one's gonna test you in a business perspective to not cheat on something, not to copy someone else's work. No one's gonna tell you that.
No, they just want it done.
They just want it done. Look at what they're doing with cell phones, man. Every cell phone looks the fucking same. You're telling me they all got that same idea on their own? No, they didn't. Like
No.
they fucking stole from each other.
Yeah.
There's
Look
nothing
at
wrong with it.
iPhone's newest feature with what do they call it, the island. It's just a fucking bar at the top that has your notifications on it. Like, bro, that's Android. Android's been doing that for fucking 10 years. I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know anything about Apple.
Chris, I gotta tell you something.
What?
Chris, I have been waiting this whole day
Waiting
to
on the
hear,
world
to hear
to
about
change. Sorry.
the Quizno story.
Oh my God, that's right.
And I only ask you this now because I do unfortunately have another meeting in 30 minutes.
Okay, I can wrap this up in 30 minutes. So, listener, watcher, junkie, this is a story about how I almost got fired for making a Quiznos joke. So, a couple weeks ago, I'm in this group chat, right? I'm gonna keep names out because it's for the story. I don't need to rat anybody out. But the story's too good to not tell. So a couple weeks ago, I go to bed, right? And I wake up, and inside my group chat, there's a new message that happened the night before, and it was the question posed to us was, hey, did you guys know that Life is a Highway wasn't written for the movie Cars? And everyone in the group chat reacted that question because it's a silly question. Obviously, we knew that. Listener, viewer, junkie, I don't know if you knew, but Life is a Highway came out in 1991 by a man named Tom Cochran. And it was a big hit then, and it was another big hit when Rascal Flatts covered it in 2006 or whenever the Cars movie came out. Right? So, this person asked a question. I responded. We all reacted. Do I want to pull it up? No, it doesn't matter. Should I go verbatim? Or does it matter?
I don't think it really matters. I think you're a good
Okay.
storyteller. I think you can figure out a way
You're
to make
right.
this work.
So he asked this question, and so my first response was, I take it the Rascal Flatts version is the only version you know about, ? And then my buddy said, I mean, to be fair, it's the only version that matters. To his point, that's true. The Rascal Flatts version is better than the original version. Tom, I'm sorry. Your version's great, that you gave us the gift of Life is a Highway, but Rascal Flatts they pumped it up, bro. So, he said that, and I said, yeah, that's true. And I said, this would make for a funny bit. Wouldn't it be funny if you had a friend whose knowledge composed of things that was 20 years old, right? So, like, they're just now learning about the new, or the updated version of Life is a Highway. And he's like, next thing you know, he messages us like, hey, did you guys hear that Blockbuster closed down? It's like, yeah, dude, that happened like 20 years ago, right? And so then I made another joke. I said, next thing you know, he's going to be asking us to go to Quiznos for lunch, right? Listener, junkie, there are no Quiznos in this area. There used to be, like 15 years ago, but it didn't take off in this area, so they all went away. So we haven't had one in this area for a decade plus, right? So I made that joke, right? And then the person who asked the question said, next thing you know, I'm going to be punching your teeth in, you dumb faggot cunt. Yeah, right? Just like...
Over Quiznos.
That's way too... bro, you came in way too hot with that. Like, if you're mad, I get it. Like, a simple, hey, man, fuck you, I didn't know. That's it. That's all that's needed. And then it had been done. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, I was just teasing you. But because he came in so hot, and I don't take too kindly to being called a homophobic slur, I went into work that day, and I told everyone I knew to ask this man, because we worked together, to ask this man, hey, did you know that that Life is a Highway wasn't written for the movie Cars? And I got about maybe like 6 people to ask him that. Well, he did not like that. One of his coworkers, he works in a different section, one of his coworkers asked him that question, and he had had enough, right? He got so mad that his face got all red, and he screamed at the person. He said, I'll fucking stab you in the neck. Right? So he loses his mind, right? I think this is hilarious, because this is all I want. I have done nothing but ask other people to do anything. I delegated responsibility like a true manager, okay? I'm a leader, okay? I got other people to join in on the bit. And so he got mad. He got in trouble. Then they came to me because my boss came downstairs after he yelled at one of the guys, after he threatened that guy. He was like, hey, man, you got to stop picking on. You got to stop antagonizing. I was like, I haven't said anything. It's like, I'm done. I haven't asked anybody anymore. Like, I'm done. I haven't done anything. And he was like, all right. And I was like, and I realized after the guy came and told me that he threatened him, I was like, okay, so I'm not going to say anything to this man at all today. And so I didn't. But they came up to me afterwards and they were like, hey, we're going to write you up. We could have fired you because it's harassment. I was like, I didn't do anything. I asked other people a question and then they followed through. Why aren't they getting in trouble? Why is this all on me? I didn't threaten anybody. I didn't threaten to kill somebody at work. Like, that wasn't me. How are you going to get me in trouble for this? They're like, oh, yeah, it was harassment. And I was like, by definition, it's not, but whatever. And so they were like, well, we could have fired you and, we don't need that kind of behavior at this place. And I was like, well, whatever. It is what it is. And it's like, he's like, well, we don't need that kind of behavior either, just like uncaring. And I was like, well, then I'll just go get another job. There's plenty of them out there. Right? And I said this to somebody who I didn't know was the plant manager. I didn't know this.
Smart. Yeah, you're clever.
I knew that they worked back in another section. I went to school with them. They're a couple years younger than me. I did not realize their position in the company. So I was being my my natural, like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to be who I am, like, no matter the cost, right? And so he didn't like that. And then that's when I, like, really got in trouble. And they were like, yeah, we should have fired you. And I was like, bro, whatever, dude. No. Like, I'm too good of a worker. And that's what they said. They were like, well, you are a good worker. Like, it's fine. But just know this is, like, the last fucking straw.
This is it.
This is it. You cannot do any more, right? But yeah, that's the story. But it was so funny, because like everybody was in on it. Everybody was like laughing about it. They thought it was silly. Like, what a silly thing to get mad about. And like, I told everybody the Quiznos joke, and then like everybody was on top of it. Like, whatever. Like, just grow up. But then at lunchtime, at break time, somebody played Life is a Highway over the radio, so it played throughout the entire fucking factory.
That's fucked up. That's harassment.
Yeah, okay. And so, you know what's funny? You know who did it? One of the team leaders. One of the fucking team leads was also in on it. So like, me, I'm just a fucking grunt, dude. Don't get mad at me, okay? I got higher ups in on it. And the assistant plant manager who I told about, he told me himself, he was like, so yeah, what you did was hilarious. Like, that is so funny. He's like, but it's the fact that his reaction became what it was that now we have to like.
Became so aggressive.
Hey, like, bro, that you fucking got under his skin. I was like, that's not excuse me for being good at what I do. Okay, I know how to rile people up. Okay, it's on him for not being able to control himself. But yeah, that's the story of how I almost got fired for a Quiznos joke.
Absolutely fucking electric.
Yeah.
That was everything I ever wanted it to be.
Yeah, it was a fun day. It was a very dramatic day. Yeah. But yeah, so the Quiznos guy, that guy, was the one who was also invited to the Super Mario Brothers movie. So my buddy was like, hey, so-and-so is going to be there. I'm like, does he know that you're inviting me? Like, he doesn't fucking like me right now, dude.
Time
like,
to let me go to the movies with y'all.
It was crazy. Like, I had several people within our group chat at the time, like after the whole thing went down, they were like, he might kill you. And I was like, bro, if I get murdered over a Quiznos joke, I will become the biggest, like, legendary troll of the internet, and I'm okay with
Put that on my gravestone.
Yeah, like, I made a joke so good it drove someone to insanity. I could live with that.
Get right it better.
Yeah, I could live with that. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be all over like true crime podcasts that probably make a fucking movie about me. Like, bro, that honestly, I'm mad it didn't happen that way.
We can make it happen.
Oh, I'll message him right now. I'll be like, hey, Quiznos, what's up? What up? Hey, you want to go to Quiznos
later?
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so junkies, if you've ever had any doubts, I am the bully of my friend group. Absolutely. I am 100% a bully. I always have been.
Chris, I don't think anyone was like curious. I think they all knew.
Listen, I just want to make it clear. You know, maybe we've got some new fans, new viewers, new listeners. I am a bully. It's my go-to comedic remarks is just like insulting. Like, it's never like, I don't mean it in like a malicious I'm better than you way, but I do like to poke, and prod. It's just, I was raised on Comedy Central. Blame it on the stand-up comedians that I admired when I was a kid. It's just fun. It's good fun. I like roasting. That's my favorite thing.
Boy, with your croc looking ass.
With your croc looking ass. Got a P for pussy on his hat looking ass.
I'm a munch.
You're
too old for that reference.
What'd you say? I'm too old for that reference? Yeah. What's a munch? A munchkin?
Look up Ice Spice when we end this call.
Okay, so you know what? I've heard that reference, and I've seen all kinds of videos about it. Like, I think I saw some dude in a crowd with a sign that said, I'm a munch. I'm like, what the fuck? What does that mean?
I'm a munch.
But yeah. Well, listener, viewer, junkies at home, we did it. This is the end of the episode. I really just wanted to come on today and recap my very exciting April 1st. Well, was it? No, it was the end of May. March. Jesus.
March.
End of March. But yeah, I had a John Mayer and then almost got fired at work. Very excited. Those were in the same week. That was the same week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was very, very dramatic time. That's why I was so up your ass about trying to like, hey, let's get this recorded like while it's still fresh in my brain.
It's going.
Yeah, like I've still got all this fucking. You wanted a rant? You should have caught me day after, bro. I had all kinds of things to say. I was like, bro, this doesn't make any sense. Why am I getting in trouble for this? I didn't do anything. Anyways, well, Jannar, what have you been listening to lately?
I'll be completely honest with you, man. I've been revisiting a lot of my old tunes. The Starting Line, their album Direction has
Erection.
been huge. Pretty close.
Drop the D.
I've been listening to that a lot. Let's see, All American Rejects.
Nice. Hey, did you see they just announced a tour?
They did, and I'm actually pretty excited. I might go.
Yeah.
This is gonna throw you for a loop. Daughtry.
First
I've been
album?
jamming. Yep.
Bro, that first album is so good.
I've been jamming some of that, and then just some pretty classic hardcore Kublai Khan, Bent Life, Turnstile.
Kublai Khan TX.
Oh, sorry, Kublai Khan TX, not the dad rock band from the 80s.
Bro, it annoys me. I keep running into these bands that have fucking vanilla names. Like, I'm sorry to call you out on this, but Tyrell, you already know. Nautilus. Nautilus is one of them, just like they just did the rebrand to help try and like combat the fact that there was 1,000 other bands named Nautilus. But like, if you're going to start a band, if you find a name that you like, be sure to Google it first and make sure there's not 20 others, okay? Because as, we'll just go from the perspective of a listener, okay? If I'm trying to find your music, if I want to be a fan and I can't find it because you and 300 other people have the same name, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So be creative. Try and be the only one, or at least do something to where you stand out. Chris, what have you been listening to lately? Oh, dude, so thank you so much for asking.
Chris, what have you been listening to lately?
I've been listening to a band called Lower Definition, Anna of the North, Inner Wave, Joy Oladukun. I've been listening to a lot of her. A Sense of Purpose, and then I've really fallen in love with this artist named Jazzmia Horn, Jazzmeia. It's very like lounge vocal, like contemporary vocals and lounge jazz kind of thing. It's very, I'm really leaning on a slippery slope of becoming just like a very what's the word? Elitist music snob. I'm gonna start like really getting into jazz. I like jazz.
You sound like such a fucking tool right now.
Listen, jazz is cool, bro. Saxophones and
I
pianos
played jazz
and
as a kid.
like the vocal stylings of jazz musicians is amazing. It's just I'm really aware that like growing up, jazz was only referred to like only like hipsters and like music snobs listen to jazz, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be that guy. But it's teetering. It's teetering. So I'm trying to be very careful. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to lately. Check out the song "Free Your Mind" by Jazzmia Horn. That's a fucking creme de la creme right there. So that's it. This has been a Tune Junkies podcast. You can find us everywhere that you listen to podcasts. We're the only Tune Junkies podcast out there, so if you Google us, you can find us. If you would like to follow me and keep up with my life, if you'd like to reach out to me personally, you can leave me alone. But if you must be involved with my life, you can follow me on TikTok at datboypit6, and as of now, who knows by the time this is released if I'll still have it, but on Instagram at ChrisNKitty. I've been really, with this TikTok ban, I've been really like fighting, just deleting all my meta stuff. But I feel like until we like launch, I have to keep my profile. Otherwise, I think I lose my pages,
You will.
So I gotta like hold off on that. But yeah, I'm really I'm eager to get rid of these social medias. But yeah, you can find me on all those things. Gennaro, where can they find you?
You can find me on my personal Instagram at Gentaro. That is DJENTARO. You can find me on my business account at Flicks by Gennaro. It's my photography account. Yeah, that's
Flix, Flix or CKS?
Yep, CKS.
CKS, nice. Better than CKY. But yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that was it. That's the end of the episode. So, listener, viewer, junkies, this has been a Tune Junkies podcast. My name is Chris. That was Gennaro. And we'll see you on the next episode.